Hello everybody, it's Transpal E.V.A here, and welcome to another character design video. This is a continuation of my last video where I redesigned the characters of My Little Pony into my own universe. I only redesigned the main 6 though, and there's a lot more characters that I wanted to redesign into this AU, so that's what this video is for. I would definitely recommend watching my last video for more info on this AU before watching this one where I redesign the princesses, or as they're known in this AU, the heralds. The heralds are in charge of keeping different aspects of magic in balance, and as such possess great power. Our first herald is Celestia, herald of light magic. I knew immediately that her and Luna had to be Latours, which are basically angels made of light, although Latours are very genderqueer and express that in unique ways. So Celestia in this AU uses any pronouns. I wanted her to look the most like a god, so I gave them a long flowing tunic with lots of gold details. I added a bunch of suns throughout, although I'm not the happiest with how they turned out, and made the light shimmers very swirly on her skin, almost like veins. For their hair, I wanted to convey the way it constantly waves in the show, so I made it wrap around them and made it slightly fade to be transparent. Their hair was easy to color in since I just used the Canon Designs colors, and for the rest I went with pastel pinks and yellows. All of the heralds have a halo behind their head, and they get wings whether they originally had them or not. So I added that as well, and Celestia obviously had wings beforehand, so I just drew those how they would have normally looked like. Celestia has been ruling as the monarch of this version of Equestria for thousands of years, and was one of the first heralds. He had to rule over everything on their own for a while, not just because of what happened to Luna, but also because at that point they were the only 2 heralds left, so he's been looking for others to fulfill that role. Fun fact, Rainbow actually knows Celestia and Luna, and was specifically asked to look out for Twilight, but they have a complicated relationship. Next is Luna, who is the Herald of Dream Magic. Their design was a bit more of a challenge to draw, but I think that was just because I didn't pick a very good pose. Their outfit design is similar to Celestia's, but obviously darker and blue, with some chains as accessories, and this really long sparkly shawl, much like the cape that we've seen them wear before in the original show. Their hair isn't as long or wavy, but it does also fade to be transparent. While the majority of their colors are a cooler blue, I made their wings fade to a more teal color, along with their halo, which their halo is supposed to look more like a moon and star. Like in the canon, Luna became corrupted one day and turned into Nightmare Moon, leading to them being trapped on the moon. In this AU, the corruption they faced was due to mental instability, which can happen among Latours the longer they stay alive. And as a herald, this was amplified a ton. They were saved, of course, and are still dealing with the trauma of what happened. I didn't get around to making a Nightmare Moon design, but maybe I'll get around to it someday. Cadence was one of the first new heralds to be chosen, and is the Herald of Love Magic. For some reason I had a really hard time deciding what species they should be at first, when it was really obvious they should be a crystalline. Since they are an agender species, they are also. For their design, I decided not to make them seem godly like the others, but more so as a royal. Their outfit was a little tricky to design, but I wanted it to be really fancy, so I gave them a ruffly blouse and this really long bow accessory on the hip as the main elements of the outfit. I decided to give them short hair, but still with like the swirly bang inside part of their hair and the cannon, and made the gems on the rest of their body pink, like their original coat color. Oddly enough, the design ended up slightly more masked, which I think is pretty fun. I also added a halo just like the others, but also a set of wings, which they did not originally have. Cadence has a similar backstory to Rarity actually. In fact, the 2 were from the same house, which focused on art and beauty in the Crystal Empire, so they know each other. And yes, they were originally from the Crystal Empire before it was taken over, and a few of Survivor School were able to escape, including them. Sometime later, they proved themselves worthy enough to become a herald, and when the Crystal Empire returned, they were chosen to be its new ruler. I think Cadence having come from the Crystal Empire makes more sense as to why they became its ruler. I do know that the canon Cadence has more to her story and being connected to the previous princess, but this is an AU, so it's a little different. And I also decided to redesign Shining Armor as well, who in this AU is a dragon, just like Twilight, and whose new name would be Daylight Silver. It's quite different from his original name, but I wanted it to be similar to Twilight, as in the first name is a time of day, and the second name is a metal or gemstone. All dragons choose their last name based off of their favorite metal or gemstone. I made his hair longer and messier, and his main color being blue. I made his eyes red to pop more, and his outfit red to also match. Actually, I'm not the biggest fan of his outfit. It might be for the colors I chose though, but it's really simple. Just wanted it to be more mask, captain-y and all that. He's also married to Cadence. The wedding story where the two get introduced would be pretty different for a lot of reasons. Since Daylight is a dragon, he doesn't have any sort of abilities that would create a barrier around Canterlot, so that would mean Chrysalis would have hypnotized him for other reasons. Also, Twilight knows who Cadence is ever since they started dating Daylight, but she wouldn't be the only one that knows something's off with them. Rarity would also know, as well as Pinky, since she's a shifter in this AU, who descended from the same species as the Changelings. Just thought I'd point those differences out, since I thought about that a lot. And that was everyone in this batch of redesigns. I know this one was pretty short. Unfortunately, the princesses don't get as much attention in the story as some of the other characters do, but I also want to redesign some more characters and make a part 3 to this video. Specifically, I want to focus on characters like Sunset Shimmer and Starlight Glimmer and Trixie, those type of characters. That'll be in part 3, and if you want to see that, you can subscribe, like, and comment, of course. And Art Fight is currently going on still right now, so feel free to check my link in the description for my account, or you can just search up my name, and yeah, you can attack me and I will might attack you. So yeah, hope that you enjoyed this video, and I will see you in the next one.